Okay, so I'm gonna be refuting my opponent's topic on abortion and how abortion should be illegal. So his claims were that abortion benefits teens, or that teens should have a second chance after they have their abortion. And also the second point is abortion is not murder, and the third point is that there are not many dangerous side effects after abortion. So for the opponent's first point, I argued that the women that go through that have the baby they can make their own choices. They have women that have complete control over their body, and they can avoid it by using proper contraceptions like condoms, IUDs, pills, etc. And then according to Payne from his pro-life article, he talks about how the baby also has a choice. So I quote that a woman does indeed have a right to do whatever she wants with her body, but not with someone else's body. And the unborn child inside of her is clearly not her body. Pregnant women shouldn't be allowed to kill this human being or harm him in any way. And so for the second point about abortion is not murder, an embryo has its own unique set of genes, and it is and their genes are all they're no doubt human DNA and human molecules. So the embryo gets a set from the chromosome from both the egg and the sperm, and they so according to Barry on his article, Which Way, More Babies or More Abortion, he says from the zygote stage onward, the human embryo has within it all the internal information needed, including chiefly its genetic and epigenetic constitution and an active disposition to develop itself to the mature stage of a human organism. As long as the embryo is reasonably healthy and not denied or deprived of a suitable environment and adequate nutrients, it will actively develop itself along the species-specific trajectory of development. This means that the embryo has the same nature as a actual human, like a full-grown adult, and there is only a difference in the degree of maturation, not in kind, between any of the stages from embryo to fetus, infant, and so on. So going on to my third point, going on to argue about his third point about there's not many dangerous side effects after abortion. The opponent only talks about one specific group of women that does not get side effects, which are the women that are turned away from abortion. So the data that he argues with is misrepresentative, and so more generally, women have get a lot of women have a lot more health risks after abortion, which includes increased breast cancer, infections, perforation of the uterus, and also with the psychological risks are depression, nervous disorders, sleep disturbance, and more on. So the data that he uses is misrepresented.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Janelle, you've got the organizational ideas down correctly, and it's easy to follow where you are at any point in the argument. That part's fine. On your first point, basically there's an argument here about the question of choice and what's going on here. You basically kind of put it down to, well, baby should have a choice as well as the mother, and the mother has a choice when it comes to contraception. I think the argument about responsibility prior to fertilization of the egg, that is where the choices ought to be. There's a value argument to be made there. There's also potentially an issue of fact that goes on here. If you could, for example, show that women are choosing to ignore opportunities for contraception and they're using abortion as a form of contraception, then I think that that might strengthen your position on that particular point and say that the choices that are being made are problematic, and that's why we have to have some limitations on those choices so that we don't get this negative consequence. On the second point, you basically have a big counterclaim here, which I think is the right counterclaim to be making when it comes to proving whether or not this is a human being. The whole genetic DNA issue, I think, is pretty straightforward on that particular point. You talk about developmental issues, that's fine also. What's missing here is a discussion of what the advocate's arguments were on this point. The advocate made some other claims that seem to dismiss those ideas, and I think you need to confront them a little bit more directly. I think you, like I said, I think your counterclaim here is the right claim to be making, but I'm not sure that it's going to succeed on its own without you're also confronting the arguments that the advocate presented. And there's really not any discussion of the advocate's evidence or reasons on any of the points, much less this point, which is the probably the key point on the argument. On the side effects argument, you do suggest that the advocate only talked about one potential side effect, those people who don't get an opportunity to have an abortion, and I think that that's a legitimate challenge to the information that was used by the advocate. You need more specific citation of your information on these risks. If any of them are quantifiable, that would be helpful also. The general risks that come from having an abortion, I mean, you listed a whole bunch of things, but I didn't hear any proof on any of those things. I didn't hear any testimony from doctors. I didn't hear any statistical information. We didn't have any examples of people who get breast cancer or have depression or sleep disorder or any of the other things that are listed there. We just got a generic list of possible side effects. I think you could make that argument a little bit stronger. On presentation issues, you have a tendency to get a little flustered here and there. My comment here is to just try and remember what your point is, repeat the claim, and go on with your argument when you get stuck. Don't worry too much about trying to be perfect. All right, thank you.